Hello and welcome to MMA Crypt's Fighting Talk. For today's show, I'll be going one-on-one with World Series of Fighting's Brandon Hempleman. Hello Brandon and welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, I'd like to start the show off with your last fight against Marlon Moraes at World Series of Fighting 4. Now, to me, there is very rare cases where a loss can benefit a fighter's career more than, say, a win actually does. Your last fight with Marlon Moraes, I believe it was one of those cases where you actually gained more fans out of the loss than you did the win. How has the support been from the fans since your last fight with Marlon Moraes there?
It's definitely been good support. I mean, most of it's been hometown support, realistically. But I've gotten people that have reached out to me and, sent me friend requests and whatnot on, social media. And it makes you feel a lot better when you lose and when people give you respect for your loss, at least. I mean, some of the media were a little harsh about it, so I'm obsessive about reading that as well.
Obviously, you were on a larger viewing audience who really got to see what you had to offer. A lot of them were excited when they left World Series of Fighting, that's for sure, or turned off the TV screens. How excited was you in the lead up to World Series of Fighting 4?
I was totally amped. I was probably a little overexcited, where I was having a hard time keeping myself contained. I think I showed in the fight too. It was just real antsy, jumping around. I mean, it was a big stage, a big opportunity, and a whole lot of fun, really.
The fight itself with Marlon Moraes, you put on a very spirited effort against a favourite, Marlon Moraes, and remained dangerous throughout the fight, even with just one leg working. How do you feel about your performance against Marlon Moraes there?
I think I did pretty well for what I had to work with. He opened my eyes to some other things I needed to change in my own training. I definitely trying to mimic him a little bit more on the striking now, and I'm making sure not to neglect my wrestling, so when it's time to shoot, I'll be ready to.
Well, speaking of the leg, you actually broke your fibula, and the swelling looked pretty nasty also. I believe a broken fibula requires a cast and extensive physio. Some people actually walk with a limp for a good while after. How is your leg feeling right now, Brandon?
It's actually feeling pretty good. I just started rolling it out today on the foam roller, making sure I can break up some build up in there from when it healed. But it's still on just about 100%. I got other things that bother me a lot more right now. It took at least 10 weeks until I could really start, training.
I'd like to move on to gymnastics for a minute here, Brandon. I literally had this conversation with Frank Shamrock yesterday. You have trained in gymnastics basically from an early age. Do you still train gymnastics right now? And has gymnastics helped you in MMA, Brandon?
It's definitely helped me with the coordination and just knowing what the work ethic is going to be like, and it helped me learn the competitive side of things, more of the one-on-one sports, probably similar to what going to wrestling would be, but I think it gave me more coordination. I've been practicing a little bit. I haven't been able to coach so much. I was coaching a local boys competitive team at the gymnastics gym in Twin Falls. But for right now, I've just been kind of implementing a little bit of my own workouts, just, the training I've learned throughout the years and focusing more on the fight workouts for right now.
You see, I never really had gymnastics down as being, a thing to train for mixed martial arts. I'm starting to think now that gymnastics really helps fighters' games, with the scrambles mainly, and obviously movement and being able to get away quicker. Is gymnastics trained a lot in MMA gyms you have been to, or is it more like a separate sort of thing where you have to go, a bit of extra outside the local gyms?
It's not necessarily gymnastics, but it's the same muscles that are being used. I mean, a lot of parallel bar workouts as well as ring workouts, and then the ring kind of transformer went over into the TRX workouts, and so a lot of people are doing those. And I think those are, pretty heavily rooted in gymnastics, just the movement side of it. So I see the same exercises, but they're not necessarily just viewed as gymnastics moves in the fight gyms, but I view them as that because that's the conditioning I grew up doing, similar stuff anyways.
Now, I don't normally ask fighters about their nicknames unless it's, one that really sticks out to me. Now, Brandon, Hot Rod certainly stands out for me. Could you tell me how the nickname Hot Rod came to be, please, Brandon?
Yeah, a longtime coach of mine, he just said I'm always going a million miles an hour and was always peeling out, so he just started calling me Hot Rod. And then, Rowdy Piper, that was his nickname back in the day. And I went over and fought in Glasgow, Scotland after I already had the nickname, and I found out that's where his persona was supposed to be from. And it was like, kind of just stuck. It's one of those things that it fit me. I felt like it had some significance to me, so I like that nickname. At first, I didn't really care for it right out the gate, but now I like it. It makes sense to me.
I was going to ask if it had anything to do with Hot Rod, Roddy Piper there from WWE. Well, yeah. WWF back in the day.
Not originally, but I kind of adopted that. That's what I thought it was at first, and then when the whole Glass Scout thing is about the time I got the nickname too, so I just thought it was like, it was fate.
Well, I have to congratulate you there, because that was an impressive win against Paul McVeigh. You know, he's a very talented fighter from the UK, so that was a massive win for you there. You are set to compete at World Series of Fighting 8 on January the 18th. You mentioned...
I was set. I actually just had my opponent fall out just a few days ago, or just found out about it at least.
Is World Series of Fighting seeking a replacement?
The last... I'm kind of out of the loop a little bit. My manager's been talking to him, and he's pretty persistent. They're probably getting sick of him calling and asking. But the last I heard is that they wanted to find me an opponent close to Florida where the card's going to be, and there's only a limited number of options, especially with it not being a totally short notice, but a little bit of short notice fight on an undercard. So I might be pushed to another card now.
Oh, that's pretty sad. So Ray Sefo might give your manager a head kick there.
Yeah.
Normally opponents are announced in advance. World Series of Fighting have been a little slow in announcing the entire fight card for this event, including your bout that just fell through, obviously. Do you know the reason behind that, Brandon? I
just heard that my opponent specifically had an injury. I'm not sure about the rest of the card. I mean, I'm really excited about the fights that are on the card. That Justin Gagey fight, I'm really excited for that one. I wanted to be on the card fighting next to him too, but. And, you got the Mike Kyle fighting, and he's from Idaho, too. But, I mean, those are there's only 3 fights they've even announced so far. Oh, and then, of course, the bantamweights of Bollinger and Nam. That's probably one I'm most interested in. But I've only heard of those 3 fights, and I'm not sure what's going on with the rest of the card yet.
Well, you mentioned you were mimicking some of Marlon Moraes' moves, obviously, in training.
A lot of his calmness. He's powerful and calm.
Was there anything else that impressed you in the fight you had with Marlon Moraes? Obviously, you mentioned he was powerful and calm. Was there anything else that stood out for you that you've been working on to add to your game?
He's bigger. I was walking around pretty small for that fight, so I felt I'm trying to eat more and watch my nutrition more. I was malnourished. I actually had to go to the hospital about a week later because my leg, I didn't have enough phosphate, and my system, I lost my vision and stuff. So I'm trying to just eat more. Stay a little healthier on that side of things, and then work my power and just staying calm. I don't have to jump around all the time. Marlon just had that composure of a guy who's been, striking at a high level his whole life. So I definitely want to copy that and have that calmness about me.
Is there anything you didn't show in the Marlon Moraes fight that fans can expect to see in your next World Series of Fighting matchup?
I've been working a lot of my freestyle, my wrestling with Coach Delchev over at Suplees up in Boise. So you can expect me to mix it up a little more, maybe not be so predictable. I mean, I like to strike, but I've been doing jiu-jitsu my whole life as well. So I think it's time to prove that I can stand up a little bit, and I need to show people that I'm more versatile than that, maybe that way my opponents won't know my whole game plan the whole time.
Brandon, thank you for joining me today. Is there anyone you'd like to mention or thank before we leave?
Oh, definitely. I'd like to just thank my strength and conditioning coach and my manager, Ross Jensen, with E2 Elite Training Performance, Mitch Coates with the Lions Jiu-Jitsu of Boise for helping me out, Coach Delchev with Suplees, my sponsors, Virus Action Sports Performance, the Tino Diet. I just got sponsored by Rev Gear, Garden of Life, Hit Supplements, American Built Clothing, Money and Larry's. I mean, all these people, they give me all this AMRAP nutrition, this stuff that keeps me going when the money's tight. So it helps me stay healthy and stay clothed. So I need these guys, and I appreciate them a lot.
To all our listeners, thank you for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.